When I graduated college, I had my dream job. I got to work for a top tier tech company in a brand new city, making big boy money, and I was hyped. My ass, I'm only a 22-year-old kid graduating college from a big state school. I was a communication major with only a 2.9 GPA. So on paper, I was not maybe the best candidate, but there were so many things that I did, like network, have a good LinkedIn, have a good resume, and use referrals to get me this job. So I thought I had the dream job, but no one, when I tell you no one warned me about what it was really like working for a top tier tech company, in my case, LinkedIn. So let me paint the picture. I graduate college, it's finally done. I graduated in May. My job start date is July 11th. So I live in New Jersey and I have to go from New Jersey, or I went to college in Maryland, to Chicago in a month and a half. I have 1 month and a half to prepare for my new life. My last 4 years were me in college, having fun, being with the boys, drinking beers, going to class, not really, and working hard, getting internships and networking, right? That was me. I love to have fun, party, skip class, unfortunately, but have a lot of internships and network with people. I love talking to people. And that's how I actually got this job. My whole story was I networked with someone in my professional business fraternity, shout out Phi Chi Theta. One of the alumni, he worked for Google and I wanted to work at Google. So he referred me at Google. And then his roommate, Zach, shout out Zach, he was actually on my podcast. He worked at LinkedIn in this program called BLP, which was an entry-level program for college students going into the professional space, rotational program, big money, new city, either in San Francisco or Chicago, where I got to be part of this cohort of people who wanted to be working business for LinkedIn. So I talked to him, we had a great conversation. He referred me. Right when the job opened, I applied, boom, I had an interview that next week. So it was crazy. I'm just happy I got the interview. I realized now that referrals get you interviews. That's a fact. As long as it's a good referral, you have a good resume, you have a good application. So got the job, went through the interview stages. By the way, it was 3 rounds. But the first round was behavioral with the recruiter. The second round was a 2-person interview. I had 2 30-minute interviews back to back. And then my third round interview was a group case interview with my program leader. But I had to work with 3 other college students from other schools to have a group project interview for the job. It all went well. I find out after the last call that I got hired. It was a crazy, amazing moment. Again, I thought I had this dream Black Mirror job. I thought it was the most exciting thing ever. And again, no one warned me for what was about to happen. I was not ready. So yeah, I get to LinkedIn, my first day. I moved to Chicago in actually a hotel at the time because I was about to be cast for a major reality TV show. And I did not even know if I was going to accept this job and make it for the first day. So I'm living out of a hotel because of the benefits actually LinkedIn provided me with. Before I go into my day-to-day, the benefits of working at a top tier tech company are so good. They give you everything. It feels like you're in a simulation. They give you mental health stipend. They give you living expenses. They help you relocate. They gave me a home office budget for me to set up, buy a new desk, buy a new chair, buy a new monitor, give me a free monitor. I bought AirPods, all on the company's dime that they gave me to spend, which was crazy. Again, unheard of at the time. I did not expect this. The whole point of this story, by the way, is that it's everything you would not expect a tech job to be like is what it is like, for good and for the worse. And I'm gonna get into the bad things in a second. But I get to this job and I walk inside this building. It is the coolest thing ever. Like, I want you to imagine this, right? You walk into this building, it's huge. Massive. You scan your little key card and you go up these elevators. I don't even have to press a button to go up the elevators. I scan my thing and the ladies who help me get into the elevator, it automatically knows where I'm going and I just get taken there. I'm like, okay, this is a new world I'm living in. I'm used to college apartment elevators, if you know what I mean. So I'm in this building now and there's these huge elevators, big glass steel doors. I walk in, it takes me up. I walk out and there it is. And I'm like, whoa, there's art everywhere. There's people wearing cool, fresh clothing, not suits and ties. I'm talking like polos, jeans, Jordans. Everyone's wearing cool clothes. I'm like, what kind of job? What is it? I'm over here overdressed. My hair's all combed over. I had a mullet. I had a long mullet. I cut it all off to have this job. So I go walk in and there it is around me. I'm working with 20 other college students who are accepted to be part of this program, 20 other students. So the whole idea was I'm in a rotational program. I am now working in a environment of 20 other college students who just graduated from all over the country. People from Georgia, from California, from Illinois, from Vermont, and I'm the only one from New Jersey. So I get there, and the first thing I can tell you about working at a tech company is it really feels like what you've been told, in the sense of it's all modern, it's all fresh. There's snacks everywhere. There's energy drinks, coffee bars, huge cafeteria. There's free things, cool things. There's a whole game room. Guys, there was a game room with a Nintendo Switch, with pool table, with a ping pong table. I love, bruh. I was a rookie at ping pong. I got nasty at it. I was so good. I played every day. But there was literally everything. There was Pac-Man, all of it. And I'm like, this is like I'm working at like an arcade. Like how like I'm working at like in this like crazy reality. Like this is so crazy. So that jumped out at me first. It was cool. The people were amazing. People were so nice. Like one thing I can say is LinkedIn has the best people. I mean, that's why the jobs were so competitive. They literally told us that there was a 0.2% acceptance rate for this program. 0.2. And I got chosen. I don't know why. I mean, hey, I guess I spoke well about myself. I guess I interviewed well, but they chose me. And yeah, the first 3 months, fast forward, went by really, really kind of normally. It was hard. I would say the hard part was adjusting because we were in a program where I wanted to go in and do what I wanted to grow at right away. I knew I wanted to do sales and relationships and business development. That's what I was skilled at. I had internships in the past, all in sales for tech companies, software companies, things like that. But it was a rotational program. So that meant the first 3 months I did were working in customer support to learn the products. The next 3 months were talent and recruitment. So I was actually interviewing people who wanted to work at LinkedIn. And then after that, I got placed in the role that I wanted to be at. So the first 3 months, I'll be real, were really fun. I got to hang out with all my friends. We all went out, had a good time. I got to learn about what it's like to workplace dynamics. I got to see what it's like working full time. Like that was my first time working full time. Networking. I was always used to being like a top tier kind of not like applicant in these settings. Like every internship that I was at, I always felt like I was one of the top people there. But now I'm thrown into the place where it's like, I'm not a big fish in a small pond now. I'm a small fish in a big pond. Everyone here went to top schools. Everyone here was super talented, had amazing internships, and now I'm one of the rest. And it kind of feels like a competition because imagine me now with 20 other people who want to be exactly where I am, who have the same goals, who want to be the best out of the cohort. And that's what it's like. So to paint this picture of what LinkedIn was like, imagine a really happy environment that had a very dark undertone of like friendly competition where I do not think there were workplace politics, but there were workplace politics going on. And that was what I was not ready for. Everyone had their own motivations and intentions. Not in a bad way, because everyone wants to get promoted the quickest, right? There's 20 of us. So we all have our first choices about what rotations we're going into, when we're going to get picked to go work in the full-time sales jobs. There was a point where after our first rotation, we all had to fill out a form of which of the 4 paths we wanted to get taken into. So imagine there's 20 of us and there's a select amount of spots open for different pathways you can go down. So everyone starts in this pool, but there's 4 different pools here, and we all have different preferences. So now it's up to us to almost fight it out to be the best, right? So we're all volunteering a lot. We're all having extra conversations a lot. We're all trying to be the gem in this group. We all want to be the diamond of the group, which is what I realized. So I think that was one big part of it. It was just like workplace politics, not in a bad way, but in a way where everyone wants to be special because we all feel like we're so talented. So there was a lot of that going on. The second thing I realized was working in tech is not like working in finance or a space where people are like me. I'm someone who loves sports. I'm a bro. I like to be with the boys. Like I like rap music. I like sport. I like that kind of stuff. And everyone that was hired with me was not very diverse in thought necessarily. They all had their own interests. It was very similar. For my cohort, it was I think 26 of us. I think there was 8 guys and 18 girls, some ratio like that. No one really liked football. No one really liked basketball. That wasn't really a problem, but I felt like I couldn't fully connect with the people there just yet, at least, like in the very beginning. One of the other things there was that tech companies want to make sure that you are put in a place to succeed and be around people that will help prepare you for success. So right when I get in, I was assigned a buddy. Actually, before I was even starting my first day, I had a mentor. They were in the cohort above me. That was really nice. So I had that. They made sure our managers had a lot of check-ins with us. We were always talking to them. We were connecting with them. Tech companies make sure that you're always taken care of. That's a fact. What it does not prepare you for, though, the reality is that it's just a competitive ass environment. Like that's what it was. So I'm gonna fast forward now to when it was the toughest times. When I mean the tough times, when I refer to like there being harder times too, like tech is not just free snacks and benefits, it's intensity. That's the word, it's intense. I'm always surrounded by people who want to get promoted alongside me, who want to be past me, who want to do better work than me, know more people than me, and get ahead of me. And in the nature of what I wanted to do as well, I wanted to work in sales and business development to where basically my role is to help LinkedIn as a company, help other companies by me getting more deals and me securing more partnerships in the way that I can support, right? So I'm obviously not closing deals, $1 million deals in my first year working there, but it's helping set up meetings where that can happen. But I thought I was nice with it. When I was in college, I had internships like this and I was fired, but no one told me about the management styles and the toughness that I was about to ensue. My first manager, really nice guy. He was very easygoing, and I think he was there to make sure that we had a good transition into the company. I love this guy. He was always there for us, took care of us, played fun games, but also cared about our growth. My second manager, she was also really cool. This is when I was working in recruitment. I had a lot of hard work, don't get me wrong, but I never felt I was being judged or competitive or graded, and she actually was making sure that I was succeeding. She actually got laid off before I left the company, and she reached out to me, asking me to help her write a referral for her, write a letter of recommendation or an endorsement. So I did that. She was cool. My third manager was one that helped me the most, but man, I felt like I was going through hell working under this person. Nothing bad to say about this person, but he made it very hard, very fast. So now I want to talk into working for LinkedIn was hard for me. I loved the company. I loved what I was doing. I loved this team I was chosen to be on. So basically, I have referred to it earlier how there was a selection process. After the 2 rotations I went through, we were almost drafted onto teams. And I was lucky. There was kind of 4 waves of being drafted. The earlier you're drafted, the better, right? You get your pay jump, you get to start in the role you want to get started sooner, and you almost kind of beat the rest of your cohort, and you kind of beat them out to being picked first because you are desired. And for this whole process, right, we do interviews with people, and then we're compared, and then other managers basically all watch our interviews and handpick us. So I was handpicked by this guy, really cool dude, big macho man, was an athlete, worked in the gym, was a real alpha male, which was kind of refreshing because in this company, everyone I was around was really not like that. Everyone was a little bit more softer, a little bit more nicer, and a little bit more not into sports and being a Chad, but more into being I like music festivals and things like that. Not a bad thing, but just what I've noticed. So this guy was a breath of fresh air to me. He could dunk a basketball. He played college hoops and he was cool. I connected with him over that. But the team I was picked on, it was a cool team. It was me, 2 other people from my cohort, and then 3 people who were picked before me and my manager. This was where things started kind of going downhill. We were onboarded to do sales. We had to sell a certain learning solution, and our goal was to help support our account executives, who basically are the people who close the deals. My job was to book meetings with companies for those people to close the deals. So I would be here, I would do emailing outreach, and then connect the companies with my account executives to hopefully close deals and get business. And this is where now I was being measured. Now I have a quota. My quota was I have to get a certain amount of opportunities, they're called ops. I have to get a certain amount of opportunities to be done and agreed to if the meeting is had with the account executive and they're valued at a good meeting. This quota was hard to attain. We had to learn a lot. I had to learn a whole new system. I'm used to cold calling. My background in sales is I'm nice with it. With people. I am nice with it. If I'm on the phone with you, we're building a bond, we're getting a connection, and we're gonna have that meeting. It's so easy. I'm like that. When I was at my last internship before this job, I did over 100 cold calls a day. 100 cold calls a day, and I was cooking. I didn't start off that good, which is fair, but I gained these skills of asking good questions, building rapport. I felt like I was very confident in that. And then I get told when I joined this team that all of my outreach will be email based. I was like, what? Emails? That's not what I am good at. That's not how I can help. I've never done this before. And the whole entire kind of pathway for me was find companies, find people at these companies, send them an email. And then 2 days later, send them another email. And then 4 days later, send them another email. And I was like, I'm like a robot. I was like, where is the human connection in all of this? The only time I get to connect with people was when I would get on a call with them when they're meeting my account executives. I never actually get to talk to them to book a meeting. Never. Literally never. It was email, time sound good, cool. And I have to make these emails sound interesting and cool. But I'll be real, that's so boring. I was so bored. And the worst part is that now I'm being competitively graded and judged against my peers. So it was tough because my peers, they were fucking amazing at their job too. Everyone is wired differently, which was what I realized. There's one girl on my team, she's awesome. You know who I'm talking about. I hope you're watching this video. She was a beast. She always hit her quota 300%, of what the number was. I was like, whoa, she's built different. She's amazing. Wow. Then there's me, who is getting so sick of writing these emails, sending these stupid emails out where I feel like I'm just a robot. And what did that lead to me doing? I felt so bored. I felt unmotivated. I felt unpassionate, and I worked slower. I didn't like what I was doing, and I would get frustrated because I was also not even there was so many little processes that I had to learn too. Like, it wasn't just sending out an email. I had to find clients, I had to log them, I had to post it here, send it here, outreach on this and this. Like, there was so many moving parts. I was like, ugh. And the worst part is I was all self-taught. My manager didn't really teach us much. He was like, here's your mentor, here's what you have to learn. We'll meet once a week with a one-on-one to go over it. And the worst part was, I feel like this person who was my manager, and I told this person this when we had our one-on-ones, I was like, I feel like you care more about your goals being attained by us reaching your goals than us actually learning properly. We were not taught properly. Like, we were thrown to the fire and it was like, figure it out. And for me, I was like, what the hell? I've never done this shit before. Like, no one's teaching me. And then I'm being now judged negatively when things aren't going well. And that's where I want to kind of go next to, is like management. Like, you experience different kinds of management. Some things you like, some things you don't like. I started it with where I liked, I ended it with where I didn't like. And I'm still grateful to this person, because the manager I'm talking about was a good guy, good person. I liked him a lot. Cool dude, had my best intentions in mind, but I felt like he was always overbearing, watching from behind me. I felt like I would be away from my computer at times, and on Microsoft Teams, you know this, like, you can see when you're online and not online, and he would text me like, yo, why aren't you online, sir? Like, it was like I was being micromanaged. Didn't really like that. Maybe it's just because I just have a problem with authority in that level, but I don't know what it is. I just thought it was like kind of weird to be micromanaged like that. And I felt like, this is the truth though, like, I feel like a lot of it was the rest of the people on my team all had different personalities. I feel like I was the one newbie person that was like masculine, that he can connect with and on that masculine level. So I would not see him act like this with anyone else, but with me, I would see this like, he's an iron fist, he's with the iron fist. And I didn't like it. And it really rubbed me the wrong way. It made me hate my job. And this is what I learned about this. All of the people you work with really matter, but your relationship with your manager really dictates your experience. Because if you don't like working under certain leadership, it makes you hate showing up every day. I hated it. I got to a point where, you know, LinkedIn was the coolest job ever. I got the best lunches. Imagine this. You walk into this building at 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning in downtown Chicago, and you walk in, you get breakfast. There's free bacon, free croissants, free coffee bar. There's all this free shit everywhere. And it's like, wow, amazing. This is so freaking crazy. Like, what the hell's going on? You know, me, I was grubbing. I probably gained a lot of weight, unfortunately. And then I would go to work, and there it was. I felt like I had this shadow over my back. And in the beginning, it was fun, right? I was hanging out with my friends. I was still achieving my goals. I always achieved all my goals in every other rotation I was in. In my first quarter, which I had a low quota, I achieved that. But as we kept going and my quota get higher, I just felt like I was being pinned up against this wall that I didn't want to be pinned up against, and being like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I really hated how I felt, how I was being taught. I wasn't being put in a place to succeed. And that's not the company's fault. That part of that is my fault. I was doing this for the first time, and it was hard. It was hard. Working for a tech company is one of the most amazing privileges you can have. I am not here to sound ungrateful, because I will tell you now all the things that I got out of this experience that were positive. Number one, you get fucking paid. I earned almost $85,000 a year out of Chicago. I'm 22 years old, making almost $85,000 a year. Next thing is the actual benefits of learning you have. I get to learn so much. I got to learn about how the company works, how the tech industry is, how companies actually operate. The reason why I have my own startup now is because I got to see the biggest education company operate, how they operate, and I got to see how they did things, how they manage people, how they manage programs, how they manage interns, how they do all these processes. So I got to learn from that. I got to learn how to sell better. I got to learn how to network better. I got to learn how to compete. You learn a lot. I learned so much in that year about how to get managed, how to manage, how to make friends, how to balance work-life balance. I learned a lot. And that's another benefit. The third benefit is the actual other benefits. You get relocation packages, you get mental health stipends, you get incredible amounts of days off. Bro, there was a vending machine you would have where you get credits, and not food in the vending machines. It was freaking laptop cases and chargers. It felt like very Black Mirror. It was crazy. So when I say all this, I'm like, maybe I'm just complaining too much about the management stuff, but I can't help that it felt like hell going to work at the end of my job, like toward the end of it. It did. All I can say is I still love tech company. I still would recommend working in a tech company. It was an amazing experience. I would do it again. Like, I would love to work for LinkedIn again. I love the company. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's the best company ever. Like, my third week of my job, we were flown out to Las Vegas with the entire company, and we had this whole thing called SK, Sales Kickoff. Oh my God. It was like, events every day. There was a talent show. There were speakers. They rented out a whole club, XS, and it was called XS. They rented out XS. We lived in the Venetian for 3 days, all paid for. Flights paid for. Hotel at the Venetian paid for. All this paid for. It was like literally living in a dream. Imagine your third week of work and you're going to Vegas. Everything's paid for. It was crazy. It was crazy, really. So what I could say is the benefits of working at a tech company are they treat you so well. There's amazing opportunities for growth. The connections you make are so plentiful. You learn a lot. You get paid a lot. And just having that experience of being at a company like this, it just is amazing. But the drawbacks of working at a company like this are that it's insanely intense and competitive. As much as they tell you that it is, nice work-life balance, you always feel like you're being compared. It's hard to turn it off. At least it was for me, because I'm so used to, my first job, I care a lot. So the hard part is that it can be very competitive. It can feel like you can't ever get it out of your head. It feels like the management style can very much dictate your experience. And that's where I found it to be negative. The last part I will say is that if you are a bro, or if you are someone who has your own personality and passions, it's hard to connect with people on that level based on what you do, because it's a very progressive company, and the people that are in the company typically are into certain things that are not very, I don't know how to explain it, but very bro-y. Not a lot of sports talk at the office. Whereas my brother who works in finance, him and all his team talk about sports, talk about latest movies, latest TV shows. Whereas for me, it was never like that. I wish I had a guy to talk sports with. My advice overall is working in tech is insanely fun, insanely amazing. I had a privilege of working there, and I would go do it again. But you have to be aware of the intensity that it comes with, the people you can be around, and the overall hard time that it will be to adjust, because it is, again, they require a lot of you, depending on your role. At least for me, it was like that. Yeah, I think that this is what it's like to work in tech. If you have more questions on what it's actually like more specifically, I can answer that, but this is just me looking at the top of my head, what it was like for me working in tech. I would say it felt like the best experience, but the hardest experience at the same time. Also, my first job outside of college, so there was a lot of that involved in it as well. But if you want to know why I quit this corporate life and why I'm doing what I'm doing now, I want you to watch this video, because in this video, I really just talk about why I left this corporate life behind me and how now I'm launching my own company that I'm doing right now. So let me know if you want to watch it. Click on the video right here. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.